This is CBN NewsWatch.
Thank you so much for joining us for CBN NewsWatch on this Friday, the 9th of January. I'm Ephraim Graham. We want to begin this half hour with news from the Middle East. The protests in Iran, now in their 13th day, may have come to a tipping point. As Chris Mitchell now reports, millions are pouring onto the streets. The spread of the protests gives some hope that the nearly 50-year Islamic dictatorship may be headed for collapse.
From Isfahan to Tehran and all of Iran's 31 provinces, millions of Iranians are calling for the overthrow of the regime and death to the dictator. President Trump posted on Truth Social that more than 1 million rallied in the streets of Iran's second-largest city, forcing regime forces to leave. In some cities, protesters are attacking police headquarters and the dreaded Basij, the shock troops used by the regime to quench the protests. So far, more than 2,000 protesters have been arrested and dozens killed. The U.S. State Department is publishing posts in Persian to the Iranian people with President Trump's statement that if the regime kills protesters, the U.S. will intervene. In an attempt to smother those protests, the regime is shutting down the internet, and some reports are emerging of massacres by government forces during the blackout. Despite the internet shutdown, the momentum of the movement seems to be escalating. Exiled Crown Prince Reza Pahlavi issued a call for action for yesterday and today.
Starting precisely at 8 p.m. wherever you are, whether in the streets or even from your own homes, I call on you to begin chanting exactly at this time. Based on your response, I will announce the next calls to action.
Many say Iranians are now looking to Pahlavi.
They are chanting the final battle. This is more important because they are chanting this is the final battle. Pahlavi will return because it's a clear vision. They want Islamic Republic overturned and they want a Pahlavi regime back.
But despite decades of tyranny, the gospel has flourished in Iran. Hormoz Shariat of Iran Alive Ministries telling CBN's The Global Lane how the word is spreading.
Every year, Gary, every year, I said things in Iran cannot get any worse. And then it does. Then spiritually, I say this cannot get any better. People in Iran are so open to the gospel. And then it gets better. If you look at the number of salvation, if you look at our curve of number of people who have come to salvation, it starts small 25 years ago, but it's growing exponentially. It's amazing. The curve jumping. The number of people coming to Christ is growing exponentially.
Chris Mitchell joins us now to continue our coverage. So, Chris, what are you hearing about the latest coming out of Iran?
Well, Ephraim, there are a lot of developments going on right now. Khomeini is threatening Trump, and he's telling him to take care of his own domestic issues and not interfere in what's happening in Iran. Also, on the other hand, there's reports that the IRGC, the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps, will be used to suppress the rebellion. Usually they're there to defend against foreign enemies, not internal domestic enemies. And so that could be a tipping point for the regime to try to strike back against all these protests literally all over the country. There's also a report that the Shiite militias from Iraq are being recruited to help suppress the rebellion as well. But on the other hand, there's signs of cracks within the regime, and that's reports coming out of France that the family of former Iranian President Hassan Rouhani, the Speaker of the Parliament, that their families are seeking asylum in France. So we see signs on both sides of the regime trying to fight back, the protests increasing, Pahlavi getting more and more attention from the people inside Iran. So we really seem to be at a crisis moment there in Iran right now. Also, just a reminder how important it is to pray for those protesters on the streets and pray for those believers. As Hormoz Shariat said, there's just an amazing spiritual revival going on inside Iran. So important to be praying for those believers.
Exactly what could President Trump do to help these protesters?
Well, some are saying he could back Israeli covert operations, use their U.S. cyber capabilities to degrade the regime's repression that would neutralize the machinery that's coming against the protesters. What this would do would sort of level the battlefield for these unarmed civilians facing an armed regime, and then provide secure communications. And what this would do, allow Iranians to communicate so they could mobilize, and that's the reason why the regime is trying to eliminate the internet and any phone communications as well. And then he could also intensify diplomatic economic pressure, sanction regime officials, and once people say avoid any retreat, seize this historic opportunity that may come only once in a generation.
Chris, Israel and the U.S. are warning about the Syrian army attacking Kurds in Aleppo. What is the latest there?
Well, Ephraim, this is a situation that's just come up in the last 3 or 4 days. The Syrian army has surrounded a couple of Kurdish neighborhoods in Aleppo. The U.S. is warning about the situation. Israeli Minister Amichai Chikli is accusing Syria, backed by Turkey, of ethnic cleansing of these Kurds. Earlier today, I talked to a Kurdish pastor, and he's saying that these jihadists are making up the Syrian army. These are the same jihadists who had fought against some of the Kurds and some of the Syrian Assad regime, and they're making up the Syrian army now. They've just simply changed their uniforms. He says they're taking orders from Turkey's. Syrian ministers are being silent, and what he's doing is appealing to the governments of the world, and he says, intervene to stop these massacres that are taking place in his neighborhood. And he's certainly encouraging people around the world to pray for these Kurds, Christians in Aleppo that are being surrounded by the Syrian army.
Less than a minute left, but want to ask you real quickly what's ahead today on Jerusalem Dateline.
We have more of that interview with Gary Lane and Hormuz Shahriat about the situation in Iran. We also have part of an interview with Gordon Robertson earlier this week with Israeli Ambassador Danny Danon. We also have a story about Israel's new public relations effort. They really want to help get the story out about Israel. We have an interview with spokesperson for the Israeli Prime Minister. She's the new spokesperson. And we also have a story of CBN Israel, helping Israelis one repair at a time, how CBN Israel is stepping in to help people here in Israel in their time of need. So those are all stories that we have on today's Jerusalem Dateline, Ephraim.
Looking forward to that reporting. Thank you so much. Our CBN News Middle East Bureau Chief Chris Mitchell, we appreciate your insights and looking forward to hearing from you again come next week. I want to remind you at home that you can get the latest from Jerusalem Dateline at 8 p.m. Eastern. You can find it on the CBN News Channel as well as on the CBN News app and on YouTube. Federal immigration officers shot and wounded 2 people in a vehicle in Portland, Oregon, Thursday afternoon. The Department of Homeland Security says during a targeted vehicle stop, the driver tried to run them over, prompting the shooting. Portland's mayor and city council are now calling on U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement to end all operations in the area. The 2 people wounded were taken to the hospital where their conditions right now are not known. A year ago, catastrophic fires raged through Los Angeles, burning 57,000 acres and killing 31 people. Residents and fire victims have been remembering the tragedy all week long. CBN's Paul Petit is in L.A. and brings us this report.
For victims of the L.A. fires, what happened here in January of 2025 is forever a part of their lives.
I wish we could just turn back the hands of time. It doesn't feel like a year, it feels like yesterday.
At the time, Hurricane Force Santa Ana winds fueled flames that destroyed nearly 19,000 structures. Blake Mallon took these videos before he saw his Pacific Palisades home consumed.
I watched them pull out chainsaws out of their truck and tear out trees and try to prevent the jump and run hoses through my house and just, sit there. Couldn't keep it.
A year later, there's still plenty of blame to go around.
I had a hose in my hand when the water went out. I have a hydrant literally in front of my house. My house had sprinkler systems, right? You can see the Santa Ynez Reservoir from my backyard.
Rose Hayes was one of 200,000 residents evacuated. Today, she still needs food made available by Operation Blessing in Altadena.
All my pictures, everything was ashes.
Rebuilding here is at a trickle. Fewer than a dozen homes have been completely rebuilt, and only 13% of destroyed homes have been issued a building permit. Some Eaton fire victims have turned to living in campers. Veretta Heidelberg's home was one of 21 that burned on her street.
I have one friend that literally had vouchers and lived in 16 different hotels. Some of the hardships that people have experienced is unbelievable.
And a report just days ago, a startling admission by the new LA fire chief that the department watered down its after-action report on the Palisades fire to protect top brass.
This editing occurred prior to my appointment as fire chief, and I can assure you that nothing of this sort will ever again happen while I am fire chief.
In Pasadena, many gathered to pray and worship. Lake Avenue Church has 90 families victimized by the fires, including orchestra director Dwayne Funderburk, whose home burned down.
I think really it seemed like the focus of it was to bring people together and to encourage them and to increase their faith in God.
For many here still picking up the pieces, the first anniversary of the fire offered a time to reflect and remember that even in tragedy, God is still moving.
That's God's way of saying, I've got you. I know what's going on in your world, and I have never left you.
In Los Angeles, Paul Petit, CBN News.
The story of 5 young missionaries that sparked a movement. Stay with us. You're watching CBN NewsWatch, and that story is coming up next. This week marks 70 years since a defining moment in modern missions, the death of 5 young missionaries in Ecuador. This story of sacrifice sparked a movement that is still bearing fruit today. Bertie Carter explains.
Any work from Palm Beach, Marge? Over. Chalmetta standing by. No word as yet. We'll be standing by.
In 1956, 5 missionaries flew deep into the jungle of Ecuador, hoping to share the gospel via sign language with an indigenous tribe called Waodani, formerly called the Aucas, meaning savages. Their pilot, Nate Saint, landed on a sandbar near the village to make personal contact. It wasn't long, however, before the tribe turned violent.
I could see he had a big spear here, and it was in backwards. He did have a cut over his eye.
Operation Auca became a landmark story of martyrdom. Nate Saint, Jim Elliott, Ed McCauley, Roger Udarian, and Pete Fleming, all speared to death by tribesmen. Their bodies found nearby in a river by a search party.
This event, people have called the most significant event in the 20th century in missions.
Gene Jordan, a longtime pilot with Mission Aviation Fellowship, the same organization that flew the men to Ecuador. Jordan remembers growing up alongside the children of the martyrs. He recalls their story sparking a wildfire in the mission field and in his own calling.
I've heard many people say that I am in the ministry because of that story, because of the dedication of those 5 men to give of their lives so that others might hear about a God creator and his son that came to die for them.
While the family suffered a tragic loss, their deaths became a seed that would eventually grow in the hearts of indigenous people groups worldwide.
So many people focused on my grandfather's death. Our focus is not his death, but what his death led to, which was the gospel going to the Waodani people.
In a twist only faith could write, the widows and a sister of the martyrs returned to the same jungle to finish the work of sharing the gospel. This is actual footage of the Waodani men responsible for the killings being baptized by Phil Saint, Nate Saint's brother, in the same river their bodies were found.
And so when you look at what our mission here on earth to do is to make disciples everywhere.
Today, Jamie Saint, Nate's grandson, oversees iTech, the Indigenous Peoples Technology and Education Center founded by his father. The center provides indigenous groups with healthcare, farming, and mechanical training, along with the gospel.
When we've done training in more than 70 countries, this year we trained about 500 people in 38 trainings, somewhere between 35 and 40 tribes.
What began in violence became transformed by forgiveness and faith. And the work begun on that riverbank still equips believers worldwide. Brody Carter, CBN News.
Still ahead, a preview of a new film from comedian Nate Bargatze, plus other stories from the world of uplifting entertainment. Stay with us. You are watching CBN NewsWatch.
Shalom from Israel. I'm excited to share with you something meaningful this Christmas. Our Christmas Arts Box. And this year's theme is Nativity Night. This box was created to help you feel closer to the land where Jesus was born. And everything inside is handmade here in the Holy Land by small family businesses, farmers, and charities that you are directly supporting with your purchase. One of my favorites is this hand-painted nativity dish from Bethlehem. And this olive wood nativity was carved by a family workshop in the Jerusalem hills. You'll also receive Israeli spices, delicious treats, local recipes, and gifts that help you experience the story of Christmas in a personal and authentic way. And because you're watching CBN, we created a special offer just for you. Visit artabox.com/CBN and use code CBN for 20% off your Nativity Night box. This is a gift with deep meaning. It's a gift that brings the Holy Land into their home. And may this little piece of the Holy Land bless your home this Christmas too. We can't wait to send you your Nativity Night Arts Box.
Hi, Grandma. I played baseball today.
Oh, that's great.
What position did you play?
First base.
That's what Grandpa used to play. When our hearing wouldn't allow us to use a regular phone, it made us feel isolated.
It became difficult to communicate with our friends and family.
Clear Captions was an easy solution for us.
Clear Captions provides captions on a phone like captioning on your TV, so you can see what the caller is saying live as they say it.
Making it easy to understand and respond immediately.
There is no insurance or Medicare required. Clear Captions service is provided at no cost to you through a federally funded program. We deliver, install, and train you on how to use your phone, all at no cost to you.
Give your loved ones the independence and connection they deserve.
Call now to see if you qualify to get a Clear Captions phone at no cost to you.
Call 1-800-770-1442. That's 1-800-770-1442.
Welcome back to CBN NewsWatch. Zootopia is breaking records and making history at the box office. Plus, comedian Nate Bargatze is coming to theaters in a film called Breadwinner. All those stories and more ahead in this week's Top 5 from the world of uplifting entertainment. At number 5.
Set. And action.
A first look behind the scenes of I Can Only Imagine 2 before it reaches theaters next month.
Camera. Turn. Let's go.
It's about my son being a diabetic and me being more of a doctor than a parent sometimes.
You know any Amy Green?
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Your godmother, clearly.
I think one of the most powerful parts about this has been seeing my life how other people see me. Like, who gets that opportunity?
At number 4, a new year and a new box office record in the world of animation.
Zootopia 2 has officially become Walt Disney Animation's highest-grossing film, making $1.46 billion at the global box office, beating out Frozen 2, which has held the record since 2019.
At number 3.
The tracks are made. The songs are ready. Let's take it from the top.
The very first look at the highly anticipated biopic on the King of Pop's life and legacy, coming to theaters in April.
Q, can you lower the lights for me, please?
Okay, but remember, in here, keep those feet still, my man.
At number 2.
The trailer for my new film, The Breadwinner, starts now.
It's a comedic first for Nate Bargatze, and we have an early look before it hits theaters in March.
I think I can handle a month alone with the girls. You act like I'm gonna blow the house up.
Bye. Dad, the front door is locked.
There's a window in the back, we'll crawl through that.
It's a family comedy about what happens when life suddenly shifts.
Dad, you're going the wrong way.
To your school.
To any of our schools. You don't know where our schools are? I'm gonna come along.
What? No, give me the phone.
Hang on. Hi, what's up?
At number 1.
remembering a giant in music.
Tributes from across the country pouring in for 8-time Grammy-nominated gospel singer and composer Richard Smallwood.
Smallwood died just days before the new year at age 77.
His love of music started early.
My mother tells the story that before I could talk, when I would come home from church on Sunday mornings, I would hum whatever hymn they sang at church.
From a small kids choir to his current group, Vision, Smallwood's career includes a Grammy, multiple Dove and Stellar Awards, and a place in the Gospel Music Hall of Fame.
I had no idea just sharing my story would encourage others. When they see someone who has been successful in some kind of way talk about the stuff they had to get through to get to that point, that encourages them to say, well, if they can make it, I can.
Richard Smallwood will be laid to rest January 24th.
Stay with us. Your Friday Faithful is coming up next. Welcome back to CBN NewsWatch. Relationship Goals is an upcoming film from Pastor Mike Todd and Devon Franklin. The movie brings a message of faith, love, and purpose as believers navigate modern dating, marriage, and spiritual growth. Take a look.
Everything's gonna work out. God has a plan. This plan hasn't worked out so well for me in the past. Moving on. Next topic. Jared Roy. Leah and Jared have history. Just the kind you don't want to repeat.
It's good to see you.
Jared was Leah's first love.
This book changed my life. It's about helping people succeed in love by using their faith. Michael Todd is a pastor phenomenon, and it all started with this book. Faith is hotter than ever. You got something against God?
Just people who use him to get a leg up.
I'm not using anyone. This book changed me. She still wants
Fixing your aim is changing the focus from the superficial to the things that actually really matter.
This book is speaking to me. We all need to fix our aim.
My aim is...
Really? So Team Denial has entered the group chat.
I've been acting like your wife, but I'm only your girlfriend. This is a fake marriage with everything but the covenant. You're a reformed player thanks to this book.
I'm walking a different path now.
The journey starts with the single.
I want to talk to you about the future. But to see that future, you're going to have to stop dwelling on the past.
Impressive, right?
That's right.
Grab all of the great things God has for you.
Did I just microdose?
On Jesus.
And Relationship Goals premieres on Amazon Prime on February 4th. Studio 5 will have more on the film in the coming weeks. Stay tuned for that. Time now for your Friday Faithful. And today I want to leave you with this reminder. God is calling. God is waiting. It is time for you to respond. Get off the sidelines and get in the game. When you move, He'll move. Just like that. Today is the day. With that word, make this a Friday where your faith is full and it is put forth in action. You can do it. Again, I remind you, God is waiting for you. That is going to do it for this edition of CBN NewsWatch. Remember, you can always find more of our news programs on the CBN News Channel. You can find them there at any time, as well as online. That's cbnnews.com. We would love to know what you think about the stories you've seen here today. You can email us, newswatch@cbn.com. And of course, you can reach out and touch us on Facebook, Instagram, and X. Make this a fabulous Friday. Have yourself a wonderful weekend. And be sure to come back and join us right here, same time, come Monday. Goodbye. God bless. Thank you for watching.